Good morning, everyone. How are you? It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Hearthside Confections. What is Confections? Like tidbits, little things that we do or say that hopefully will help you as you move forward in your life. It is my pleasure today to introduce myself to those of you who do not know me. I have a co-host and I'll introduce her in a minute. But I'm Dr. Waonyo Simmery. I wear many hats, and I wear them to keep me focused on life and not spend too much time doing nothing. You know what they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So I do a lot of things. I'm a professor. I teach MBA courses. I am the president of the African Women Economic Consortium. I'm an author, and I do a lot of public speaking. And I just enjoy doing anything that will keep me busy. I'm a therapist. I have a program called Fresh Therapies, and so that is my life coaching program. And I just love doing things that, besides making money for myself, helps me talk to other people. I am a mother. I have three grown children, two daughters and a son, and two wonderful, wonderful grandsons and a wonderful son-in-law. And I am married. Those are the kinds of things that keep me busy. And I don't know where you are right now. I am very ready for this day. I have my little shawl on, keep me warm, and I'm by the hot fireplace. That's why it's called Hearthside. And so I'm ready to have a conversation with my co-host today. And there she is, Dr. Imani Ma'at, my very special friend. You know how we all have those special people in our life, but they are just those that you just have to have them around. And that's Dr. Imani. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Imani before we get started. She is a published author. I'm sure she's going to share some of her books with you today, some of her works. She's a Harvard-trained health educator. She's retired from the CDC. And she's a mother as well. She's got a wonderful son and, oh my God, four gorgeous grandsons. If there's anything I've left out, I'm sure Dr. Imani will let us know. Hello, Dr. Imani, how are you? Welcome to the house.
Good morning, Dr. Simmery. I have four grandchildren, two boys and two girls.
Wonderful. Oh my God, they are so gorgeous too.
They are wonderful. They are definitely the lights of my life. And all of the other stuff pales in comparison. I mean, the speaking, the writing, the everything else, I just get around them and that's just like makes me feel like life again, life and love and caring, and just those hugs are amazing.
Absolutely. So, I have to share. I have to share with you something that happened because for the Thanksgiving, the boys were with me. We had to keep the social distance, so I really didn't have family for Thanksgiving. So it was just my husband and myself. My youngest daughter was at work. My daughter and her husband could not come, and my son, I made sure he didn't come. We have to listen to the recommendations of the scientists. So we kind of had a stay-at-home sort of thing, right? So I took my grandsons for a walk. My 7-year-old saw this beautiful home down the block, and it looked like a castle. And he says, "Grandma, a castle. Let's go get the." He was so excited about it. Let's go get the dragons. Can you imagine that? That made my day. He saw from his perspective, life is not as messed up as we think. What he saw was a castle, and behind the castle, there's got to be some dragons. Anyway, that's my little story.
That makes sense.
Yes, and we would like to welcome Adora. Nosferatu. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. And then we have another person who has joined us, and his name is Desire, I believe it is, Amoyo, and Ajani, I beg your pardon, Ajani. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be an interesting topic today. Focus is our topic today. And that's one area that continuously impacts us as a people, as human beings. We tend to focus on things that, more unfortunately, doesn't do us any good. I want to start by telling you this story. It's not a story really. It's when I was doing my internship in clinical psychology, I had the opportunity to have therapy session with this couple, and this couple, they get trying to get married. Dr. Manny, you have to hear this. That, certainly I can't mention names, but they were talking about getting married. And the problem with getting married was the fact that she was flat chested. Yes, she was flat chested. He loved everything about her except the fact that she's flat chested. So for them to get married, she has to do a boob job. I'm sorry, but I have to use that expression. And I thought that was quite amazing. You've been with this woman for 5 years, and your focus is on the fact that she's flat chested. Now, that has now become her focus. She doesn't want to do it because it's not what, she initially was quite comfortable with who she is. But all of a sudden, she's not. She's focused now on making him happy by going going and having surgery and putting can you imagine that? So I did ask her. I asked her, and I asked him as well. I said, well, let me ask you this question. How did you meet? What attracted you to her? Why is it now after 5 years that her being flat chested is your focus? If you love someone and you stay with them that length of time, then you cannot make that the focus. And then because that's your focus, now you've lost all perspectives about marriage. You will marry her if she goes under the knife. Dr. Maddie, what do you think about that?
Do you really want to know what I think about
that? That was crazy.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we should be comfortable enough in our own skin to, first of all, it's her decision, it's her body. And yes, if he's focusing on that, you almost have to say, why is that the focus? Like you said, I mean, he had all these other things that attracted him to her. And now that one thing, what you focus on grows. So all of a sudden he's focusing on the fact that she's flat chested. So there's probably something deeper that he's not happy about in terms of the relationship, because that is so shallow. And so, to want somebody to do a major surgery like that on their body to please you. I mean, you really have to wonder what that is all about and why she would want to she doesn't. It sounds like she doesn't want to do it. So
she doesn't want to do it. But what I did ask her is, what we focus on takes away from us. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. You were quite comfortable with who you were until this, right? How did this affect your ability to be who you are? She has a master's degree. She went to some of the best schools, very well-spoken, good-looking young woman. But now she feels inadequate because of that. So I asked him, well, do you love this woman? Because if you love her, and somebody knows for her to ask the same question. If you love someone, you wouldn't want to change them.
Exactly.
And you don't change yourself to accommodate somebody's inadequacies, because it's not your problem. There's something there. It's his problem, not your problem. We need to not build ourselves up based on what other people think. And like I did tell them, they have to make sure that they really love each other, because that should not be what will put you, keep you apart. Now, I'm going to tell you, Dr. Bani, I had issues myself when I was growing up. I had issues. And let me tell you what that issue was. I was a very skinny girl. Never mind, never mind. I'm not so skinny now. That's all right. I understand. After you've had children and you and you've been in the house because of COVID for too long, there's just too much food around. But anyway, when I was young, I was very thin, and on top of being thin, I was masculine. Now people pay all sorts of money right now to have a little masculine arms and all that. Everybody was just all giddy about Michelle Obama and her arms, right? Because it's, you know, but I was told that I wasn't feminine. And I'm telling you, that's why we've got to be very careful what you say to people. It stays with them. I was told I was not feminine, and because of it, it was difficult over the years, Dr. Imani, to wear sleeveless clothing. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Sometimes I wear it, as I was growing older, sometimes I'll put on a sleeveless outfit on and I'll run back in the house and put something with sleeves because no matter how I felt about myself, my whole world revolved around that arm, that it was masculine. And so going out and being around other women, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to show my arms. It sounds weird, doesn't it? But that's reality.
Yeah.
What you focused, it became my focus. I focused on it. But gradually, as I became more and more spiritually in tune with myself, I realized that is not my opinion. That is someone else's opinion. And I must see myself as I am. What are your thoughts about that, Dr. Mani? Did you ever have any such thing that maybe held you back?
It's funny because I was at the other extreme, and it really wasn't an extreme, but my sister, who's 2 years younger than me, who happens to be visiting right now, which is so nice, but she had nicknames like Diet Right and Bones. I mean, they were all skinny nicknames, right? And so, I remember one of my neighbor's fathers, my name was Patty growing up, and he would like jokingly call me Fatty Patty. And so I had a weight complex all of my life until, like you said, I got more spiritual and became a vegetarian, and but I look back at my childhood pictures and I'm like, I wasn't fat, but I was carrying that image of myself in my head. I believed that I was fat. Next to my sister, I guess I felt that. But you have to be so careful what you say to children, because people do carry that into their adulthood, and even something like that makes you make different choices about who you want to be around, how you're going to present yourself, what you're going to wear, the amount of time you put into trying to look good because you think you don't look good. And so, it's a shame because what you focus on grows. And also everything is energy. So if you're carrying the thought that you're overweight or that you're obese, then that projects from you. So I remember I was the captain of the cheerleaders in high school. I did a lot of it. I ran track. I did a lot. There was no way I could have been fat, right? But I remember one of the girls on my cheerleading squad, she called me ample. And I mean, it hurt. I was like, why is she calling me that name? But again, it was like comparing me to my sister. I was ample, I was full, I was big. And again, I look back at my cheerleading pictures and I was not heavy at all.
But that impacted you, didn't it?
It did, because I was very self-conscious, and to this day, sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, okay, stop. I even say that in front of my granddaughter. She's like, Nana, you are not fat. You are not heavy. And, and I certainly don't want to project to her, any images about body, because she's changing. She went from 12 to 14 overnight.
I saw her.
Yeah, and it's like, people are saying, wow, she's really, and I'm like, she's fine. She's just fine, just the way she is, so we do have to be careful.
We have to be careful. And if we as parents notice a child is focusing on something negative and they talk to you about that, you don't ignore it. You don't ignore it because it means something to them. And if you ignore it, you push them aside, it becomes their reality. When somebody says, well, somebody said so and so about me, oh, don't worry about it.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
don't worry about it. No, 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 no. You never do that. You find out how whatever the person is perceiving, you know, whatever they're perceiving, how that is going to impact them as they move through their lives.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I have something here that I want to share what Ferratu has written, and that's interesting. Dr. Mani, can you read it?
Yes, I can. She says, I experienced something very similar. Growing up, I was compared to friends by other friends that were thinner than I was, even though I was not really heavy. And I am really tall. It led to an eating disorder, anorexia. She stopped eating, basically. I ended up a size 4 by exercising 2 to 3 hours every day. It can be damaging. Being vegan, I'm doing it the right way and still trying to love what I see in the mirror. But body dysmorphia is a battle that I still struggle with. That's interesting. So maybe one of the reasons I was so active in sports is because I was trying to counter that image of,
yes, that's right.
of being fat. So I worked out all the time too. I ran the 440, the 400 meter, which was a kick-ass kind of event. I mean, you really had to move. And so I worked out all the time. And I'm sure some of that was because I wanted to counter that image of me being fat.
Yeah, it stays in your subconscious.
It
It
does.
doesn't really go away.
It does.
Ferratu is saying that it's still there. She still has to work it out. And there are so many people that struggle with this,
Yes.
So
Yes.
it behooves us that since we know that people will focus, I always make this analogy where, something falls on your toe and that toe starts to hurt and throb, and your whole life just stops and focuses on that. It doesn't matter what's going on. Every conversation is about that little toe.
Right. Right.
So
right.
what we focus becomes larger than it's
Yes.
supposed to, what we
Yes.
focus on.
Absolutely. What we
Yeah.
focus on grows. And to this day, I have to just stop myself because, we can focus on fear. We can focus on lack. We can focus on painful memories from the past, and you ever like trying to go to sleep and you're just thinking of something negative that happens and what you would have done different. And it's like, we can't change the past. Go to sleep.
That's true.
Why are we putting energy on something that we can't change? We really have to just say, okay, I'm going to do a timeout on that thought and think of something more positive. Think of something where I can build and grow into the future, as opposed to lamenting about whatever I can't change from the past. So that's really, really important. What we focus on grows, and we have to be. And again, the spiritual foundation really helps us.
It helps. It
Because
helps.
you find when you have the courage to push past your fears or push past your anxieties and do something that is totally off the chain or off the cuff, you're going to find that the universe is either going to carry you, is going to be that wind beneath your wings, or else you're going to just have a gentle landing. It's going to be okay.
That's right.
It's important to take risks and, not focus on what could happen if I do this, or, people aren't going to like me, or people aren't going to respect me, or I might fail, or I might lose money. It's like, I love taking, carefully thought out risks, but it's important to push that envelope. I remember when I was probably like in the first grade, I remember there was we had taken some of those standardized tests or whatever. And I don't know what they test you on as a child, but there were some teachers standing in the doorway, my teacher and maybe the teacher in the next class over, and they were looking at me, and they didn't realize I was looking right back at them, but they said, she's absolutely brilliant, but she has no mechanical skills at all. So they must have been like putting the round peg into the square box. And I was thinking about that story. I mean, I ended up going on to MIT and places like that, so I clearly had a lot more ability than they thought. But what I think they saw was trying to, and it's kind of like a metaphor, trying to fit me into a box, whereas I was looking at things totally different. It's like, so maybe that sickle can fit into the triangle. I just have to push harder. I just have to push harder to get it in, as opposed to saying, oh, it doesn't go there. I'm like, maybe it does go there. They weren't seeing that. And that's how I have seen life, what we can do outside of the box, what we can do to push the envelope. I've been a nonconformist all of my life, even though I've done some real conforming things. But I've always liked the challenge of seeing something from a different angle. And that's what they weren't seeing, and I've always known that about myself. So I didn't pay them any mind at all.
That's right. That's right. And that's just it. That's just it. If you focused on what they were thinking about you, right, you may still be stuck there. I have a friend who, just a little bit, it's some topic, but I have a friend who is, when she calls, I don't answer the phone. I just don't, because I'm sorry. I still love her to death, but I don't answer the phone because I don't want to hear all that nonsense about Donald Trump. I don't want to hear about the news said this and look.
Nope.
Don't make that. If you focus on that on a daily basis, that thing will become your whole life.
Yes, absolutely.
Be all about that. You know what I'm saying? So, and as a matter of fact, and then of course she complains about the COVID situation and all of that. Yes, the COVID is a bad thing. We all know that. But I tell you what it has done for me, it has actually helped me focus on other things that I never focused on. Like writing my books. I've been able to, and I've, like you talked about spiritually, I've really connected. I'm telling you, I am so connected to my God right now. I'm connected to the Most High. I don't feel alone anymore. Whereas, you're out there in the rat race, you're trying to get somebody to help you figure things out. Now I have to figure it out myself because I'm in the house. And who's my partner? God, Chineke. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to go within and use a situation to your own. They say life gives you lemonade. I mean, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Okay, so you're stuck in the house. How about that book you've been talking about? Write it. Write it. How about those walks that you've hardly ever taken? Go for a walk. Get on the phone. Call somebody. Just do something. Don't focus on the negative things. Dr. Bani, I want us to talk about another focus that people have, and that is bad luck. Oh my God, bad luck.
Yeah. I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and let me tell you what I mean by that. A lot of times, and that's why it's so, I'm in tune with my ancestors. I'm in tune. If I have a question, I know where to go. And I try to share that. I have sessions with individuals just to let them know, go in within, honey. Go in, talk to Chineke, talk to the ancestors, because you know what? You're never alone in anything. You may think you are, but you're not. You look at, there are 7 billion people in this world, 7 billion. Think about that. Every one of them has a challenge. So you're not the only one with a challenge.
Right.
Somebody has lost their house. Somebody has lost their good health. Somebody has lost something. Out of all those people, you're just one of them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if not you, who?
Right.
It's happening to somebody. So what happens is, as you begin to think it through, you start realizing it's okay that this is happening. I'm learning from it. Learn from this so-called, but things happen. Some people believe that things happen in threes, right? You know what I mean by that? If it happens today, something happens, another thing follows it, then you're waiting for the third shoe to drop. Okay, well, I know. I have bad luck all the time. You're looking for work, okay? You've done how many interviews? That you know the third one before you even go to the third one, you know they're not going to hire you. So you believe that you are nothing but a walking bad luck, and you make it a reality. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Manning?
I think I like to answer with stories, and that question, that thought about bad luck made me think of. I used to, I mean, I worked as a health scientist at CDC for 22 years, but my retirement job many years later was for 5 years. I was teaching and managing an education program at the large county jail sheriff's office in DeKalb County. And there was one morning, and I would always start my classes with, a meditation, deep breathing, just kind of to de-escalate whatever drama or whatever they may have been going through. And the class sizes would always vary, especially if I was there early in the morning, they might have been sleeping instead of coming to class. So one morning I had 2 guys in a class, and one came in, he was, you could tell he was happy to be, out of his pod and, in the classroom with me. The other guy came in, he was like, he just was like, just had this real sour puss, and all the way through meditation, he was there tapping his foot and looking around the room. He wasn't meditating, he wasn't relaxing. So finally I said, "What is wrong with you?" It's like, how can I help you? He says, "Well, everyone else from my section got called to go to meet with the judge to get bonded out. He was expecting to leave." And so I looked at him and I said, and he said, and they called everybody's name except mine. So I looked at him and I said, "Maybe there's a reason why your name was not called." I said, "Because everything is energy. So, the judge comes in, he or she, they have their coffee, they're ready to go, they're in a good mood. And then you come in front of them with a long face. You're mad, you don't want to be there, you're expecting them to work miracles for you. Somebody owes you something." And I said, any judge in their right mind would have said, go back to your cell, because you're not ready. And I really don't even like your energy. I don't want to be around you, And so this person was he had the frame of mind of, bad luck again. Here I am. Everybody else gets called. They didn't call me. I got to stay here. Everybody else gets free and I'm still in jail. And so I had a 5-minute discussion with him about the importance of energy and our energy, what we carry, what we bring to the world. Forget that bad luck stuff. What are you putting out into the world in terms of your energy? And so 5 minutes later, they called his name over the loudspeaker. He jumped up. He had this big smile on his face. And I said, "Now you're ready to go see the judge." Mm-hmm. And I never saw him again. He was gone. But he needed that lesson. That's why he wasn't called that day. He needed that lesson to understand that we carry energy with us. So, this bad luck thing. Now, I have people like that, Dr. Osimiri, on Facebook that I can't even deal with. "Oh, I'm sick. Oh, my sister is this or my brother is that. And oh, life is horrible. Here I go again," every time. And it's like, okay, I just want to say hi to you,
Well, I'll get back with you.
Yeah, but people carry that thing, and so they give it a title of bad luck. Remember that song, "Bad Luck"? Bad luck. What you got? It's what you got. And we have it if that's what we want to focus on. If that's what you think you are, and you're going to attract more of that to you. So you have bad luck and you stub your toe this morning, and then later on you ran your car into the curb, and after that you spilled some coffee on a document that you had to hand into your boss. It's like, everything is going wrong.
Everything's wrong,
But it's the energy that you're carrying. It's that energy of messing up, or having bad luck. So I truly believe it's the same discussion around focus. What you focus on is going to grow. Your bad luck is going to grow. If that's where you are, and that's what you accept, that's what you believe, that you've got bad luck, you're going to just keep having more of it.
I tell people, learn this word. is the shortest word in the dictionary. Next.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Move
Next.
on, move past that. Things will happen to you, whether you prepared for it or not. Even the best laid plans fail.
Yes.
Even that. You
Yeah.
know, I always look at. I don't know if you do this, Dr. Madi, but I would recommend anybody should pick up. I don't remember the name of that book, but it tells you, it lists all the successful people in the world and how they got to where they got. You know, before
Oh
they got
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Some of them, what they had to go through
Yeah.
before you know, anybody even looked at them. Look at Chopin. Look at all those
Mm-hmm.
musicians. Look
Mm-hmm.
at all that. And as a matter of fact, if you look at what's his name, Einstein, he's a very interesting story. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just take the time and read about all the greats. If they had if they had adopted that mindset, oh, it's just bad luck, they will not be where they are today. Are
Right.
you familiar with Les Brown? You're familiar with Les Brown.
Oh, absolutely.
Read his story. Read
Yeah.
his story. They
Yeah.
turned him away over and over and over until he decided to go. A particular guy that he went to, he wanted to work for the guy, but the guy kept telling him, "Man, are you here again? Go away." They kept
Yeah.
chasing him
Mm-hmm.
until finally they said, "You know what? Okay, let's try this guy. What the heck do we have to lose? He's becoming a menace, right?"
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
even in the middle of your challenges, you know, if you focus,
True. Mm-hmm.
you see, you can grow. Even your challenge is there to teach you something,
Right.
you know. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of focusing on the negative aspect of that challenge, say, turn it around. What can I do with this challenge? As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to being negative focus, can I turn it around and make it something positive? So, as a matter of fact, it's a mind game.
It is. It
All in
is.
your mind. What, like you said, what you focus
Mm-hmm.
your mind on becomes your reality. It's a mind game, you know. Tell yourself as often as you can, each and every day. You know, they always tell you to go, you know this, Dr. Mani. They always tell you, put on the mirror
Mm-hmm.
what you want to achieve. Never mind the bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind that you tried and it didn't happen. When there was a house that I wanted. I wanted this beautiful home in Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Money. I didn't have the money for that. I didn't. Or at least
Mm-hmm.
I thought I didn't. But my friend was a relative, and I told her I love this house. That is so beautiful. She says, "Well, why don't you get it?" And of course, right off the bat, I said to myself and said to her, "I can't afford it. I don't have that kind of money."
Yeah.
She said, "Yes, you do." And I'm like, "Where? Where do I get that kind of money?" He said, "You have a home. Sell the house, and you sell that one, you can get this one." Never occurred to me. Never occurred to me. All I was, it's other people. My focus was my pocketbook wasn't that deep, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Everybody else can have what they want, not me, right? Until she reminded me, "You're not looking, baby. You're not looking. You're thinking negative. Look around you. You got a house. Sell the house you have." I had a little house in Detroit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. It was a beautiful little house, but I sold it. But while it was in the market, I would drive to that beautiful home in Rochester Hills, and I'll stand there. And she told me, tell tell the house what you want. And I'll stand there in front of that house. And I said, "One of these days, I'm gonna own you. One of these days, you'll be my house." And
Wow.
I'll drive. And Rochester Hills was so far from Detroit, almost 45 miles.
Mm.
I would travel to go and see, to make sure, because that house was on sale, to make sure the for sale sign was still there. And
Yeah.
I'll tell him, "You're going to be mine one day."
Wow. That's
And it did, because we sold our house. We got that house. And after that, I said, "Well, this is nice, but hey, I can still do better." I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. But what I focused my mind on
mm-hmm.
getting, I
Mm-hmm.
had it on my mirror. Do you do that, Dr. Mani? Do you ever do
I
that kind of
I
thing?
have a similar story, but I was actually, and I'm here in Virginia Beach at my parents' place, and they live on a beautiful lake, and they have a room that overlooks the lake. And I remember sitting there because I lived in a house in Lithonia at the time. It was a pretty modest house, a subdivision where the houses were pretty much built on top of each other. I was one of the first to move into the neighborhood. I didn't know it was going to end up looking like that. But I was here in Virginia Beach, and I was looking out onto the lake, and I said, what I want is something just like this. And I gave a list of P's. I said, I want property, I want privacy, I want peace of mind. I said a pond would be nice, but I almost don't want to get greedy. But I put that thought out there to the universe. And then I just held on to it. I may have written it down, but I didn't focus on it a lot. I made the wish. And I was driving by, my son was learning to drive, and we were going to school. He was driving and I was in the passenger seat. And we passed these woods, and I was like, and it said for sale. And I was like, those woods are for sale. And I just got this really, weird feeling. Anyway, coming back from school later that afternoon, I told him, I said, drive. It was a long drive. I said, drive down there. I want to see what's back there in those woods. And, lo and behold, it was a beautiful house. There was a lady who was packed and ready to go. But more importantly, I had 3 big dogs at the time. And she had 3 big dogs. And there was one that looked like a blonde horse. Now, I'm up in an SUV. The dog jumped up and put his head in the window. The head was this big in front of my face. And I'm petting it, and he's wagging his tail. Welcome home. And I was like, bingo. That's how I found that house, Dr. Asimari. And not only that, just like how you were trying to figure out how to get it, I remember sitting with the mortgage guy, and I was explaining to him, remember that movie where Whoopi Goldberg, I guess in Ghost, was explaining to the banker about something. And then she said, oh, never mind, because the banker didn't know what she was talking about. She was like telling on herself. So I'm sitting there with the mortgage guy, and I was talking about because he was looking at my credit report, and I was explaining about this house I have up in the mountains, and how I'm probably going to sell it, whatever. And he said, "What house in the mountains?" It did not show up on my credit report, and I was like, "Oh, wow." That's wonderful. And so, in fact, I did a never mind to him. I was like, oh, never mind. And we just went on with the discussion. Like I had one house to sell, not 2. Yeah. And I was able to get it. And I was like, this house was, it was financed by a major bank, the one up in the mountains. It always showed up on my credit report. It didn't when he pulled the report. And I was like, that house is mine.
That's it. It was mind over matter, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
It was mind over matter. And that's what I say to people, when I have my therapy sessions, I remind them it's important that it's in your mind. You don't have bad luck. You have to substitute the thought of bad luck with determination. Yes. Les Brown says, if you fall, try falling on your back. Fall looking up, because if you can look up, you can definitely get back up. It's not the falling that's the problem. It's do you get up? It's not the fact that something negative happened to you. It's did you get over it, or did you stay there? Right. And you are never alone. Work it out. There's a song. I don't know who sang that song. Work it out. Work it out. You know the song I'm talking about. I don't know the title of it, but the bottom line is work it out.
Work it out.
You can go beyond. See, where this life is humanness. This is our humanness. We can get stuck in our humanness because our humanness is full of flaws. It's got a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us human. That's what tries us. That's what makes us human. But you've got to go beyond that humanness and enter what I say, the unlimited word of the Spirit. Yes. You have another part of you where you can connect to the strongest energy there. And that is the Creator is always there for you, always there.
Right.
But when we're stuck in our humanness, we're looking at those things that, quite frankly, are part of being human. They don't go away. You understand what I'm saying? They don't go away, but they will not matter. When I say they don't go away, they can be lessened. But if you make them your consciousness is all about that. Guess what? It will get bigger and bigger
And bigger
and bigger.
and
Now,
bigger.
I want to share this with you before, and I'll let you finish this.
Mm-hmm.
This woman that I know, I don't want to call her name. This woman it's a tragedy. It's one of those big tragedies. She
Mm-hmm.
passed away.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to have a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she was so focused on having this daughter, and she was advised by her religious group or whatever that she was pregnant, and that she was pregnant with a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And her focus was, I want this child so much. She never even, they told her, you don't even have to go to the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
She never did. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? She was not pregnant. She had a tumor.
Oh.
And so she's walking around with a tumor growing in her, and
Oh.
she thinks she's got a child in it. But her focus was on that child. She didn't want to think about anything else because that child is
Mm-hmm.
going to make her whole. She
Mm.
forgot about all the other important things, but it was all about that child. Ultimately, the tumor took her life. So something that you focus on may take your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that you focus on may take your life. Your thoughts.
Absolutely. What one of the things you mentioned earlier was like during this time of COVID, a lot of people are focusing on, fear that they're going to get sick or, they're going to lose people or whatever. And I have found that people who are really in the spirit and who are awoke tend
Whoa.
to, I feel like the creativity has been rising. I'm
Yes, hasn't it?
Right. I'm finishing one book. I'm working on a chapter for another book. I have 10 other books in my head, and I have been writing and writing and writing. And it's such an exciting time because I don't feel any limits at all. You know,
Yes.
so if you, you know, if you, I saw a little cartoon the other day, and it said how to get rid of COVID, and they had someone throwing their TV out the window because
That's
yeah,
so funny.
you sit there and soak up, what the news is telling you all day long. This is the count. This is what's going on. This is the number of people dying. This is the number of new infections. It's like, okay, so what else is going on in the world?
Yes.
There's like a whole lot of other things going on in the world, but they want you to just focus on that and
Focus
just
on
be
that.
afraid and just worry. And it's like, nah, not having it. So it's like we have to take the time to build ourselves up,
That's
to
right.
use our creative energies. If you're stuck
Yes.
in the house, are you a writer? Are you a painter? Are you, whatever you do it,
Do
and
it.
stop fretting and worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen a week from now, what's going to happen a month from now. You know,
Yes.
just figure out what your path is and walk your path and do your work and know that
That's
it's going to be okay. And it's going
right.
to, we've got to focus. We have to focus on what's real and what's important in our lives.
Yeah,
And
you motivated me, Dr. Manny. I've got to say this to you. Um, Now, my daughter, my youngest one, is with us, and she's usually at work. And so my husband, he loves to put her all over the place, here, but he's always busy doing something. And I admire him for that because at the age of 70, you will not know this is, what I'm saying. You will know
Mhm.
this is a 70-year-old man. He is so busy, always doing something, never has time to worry about age or time to worry about what he can't or cannot do. I mean, what an inspiration, you know. But you inspired me the other day. I was sitting and watching television, and I called you.
Mhm.
Now I had, it was my moment to wind down a bit.
Mhm.
So I contacted you, and we were talking, and you told me you bought a bicycle, and I said, that's a good idea, right? So
Mhm.
I went and bought a bicycle. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun! I
Yes.
can hardly wait to finish what I'm doing and get on that bike and start riding. And it's almost like, my God, you're leaving all your, as Igbo people will say, palava. You're leaving all your palava.
Mhm.
It's not Igbo really, but at home we use that a lot to indicate problems. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I get on that bicycle, and When I'm writing, I don't think about money. When I'm writing, I don't think about the elections. When I'm writing, I'm not thinking about what I did yesterday or could not do yesterday. I am thinking about the birds. I'm thinking about the beautiful trees. I'm thinking about what's in front of me. And guess what? It causes you to think positive thoughts.
Yes.
Positive thoughts. You can't get on a bike and you're riding, you're thinking about bad stuff. You will hit a
No,
tree.
you
You know
can't.
what I'm saying?
No. I mean,
I
just
thank you for that. I want to thank you for that. I really enjoy my bicycle.
well, you're welcome. I love it. I just, you go out and you're breathing fresh air.
Air, yes,
You're breathing in fresh air, and I mean, there's nothing like that. You know,
yes,
and I would love to, if you let me, if you indulge.
please,
I
yes.
I have a poem that I wrote about our smiles and missing our smiles. This whole covering the face, and I get it. I understand why they're encouraging you to cover your faces, but there's something about being covered that disconnects us as people. People not only are wearing the mask, but they're shifting their eyes when they pass you in the store. They don't even make eye contact. They don't even blink at you or do anything to acknowledge that you're another human that's passing by them. So, and I actually did, I added this to the book that I'm writing, which is about the work at the jail. Um, and I sort of dedicated it to them. And I said, I hope that the people, the men and the women that I was working with, I hope that they're all gone. I haven't been there in about a year now. So I hope that they have been able to move home and, go back to their families. But it's called I Miss Your Smile. So I miss your smile, not like that of a lover or family member. I mean, people I pass on the street when we choose to meet, when we chance to meet. While you're bagging groceries and walking down the aisle, does the new non-normal require you to cast your gaze to the floor or ceiling when we pass, hiding your smile? It feels mean, devoid of meaning. Social distancing and masks hide your heart and your spirit. Your smile as you wear it, it goes in vain, looking instead like fear and pain. This is so insane. I miss your smile. And I haven't even met you. Your smile is the gateway to your soul, whether young or old. It paints a picture of and tells me by design where I stand. Your smile tells me that you're smart and that you're guided by your heart. It's what sets you apart from the crowd. For crying out loud, your smile and its depth tells me to outstretch my hand or to stand back. The lack of smiles mucks with all of us, the weak and the tough, the slick and the rough. A world without smiles is unacceptable. I want to see your smile, dang it. It's not fair. It's not like you even care. The passive bullshit that has us walking through the stores looking like step fart wives, no emotions, has to stop. Not nod your head and say hello before letting our encounter go. How long before we can go back to normal? I need to see your smile. It's been gone for way too long a while. Thank you
Oh,
for
I love it. I love it. I love it. As the smile. And you're so right. And that's probably one of the most difficult things about what we're experiencing with the mask. And of course, you're a health educator, so it's mandatory that we do whatever we have to do, to cover, to protect ourselves and certainly protect other people. I love that.
Thank
Uh,
you.
but we still miss your smile. You need to. Do you sell that? That's
But
something
that's,
nice.
you know what, that's going to be in my upcoming book. I was trying to make a quick copy of it. I've got the cover. It's called Educating the Incarcerated, Facilitating Opportunities for Growth and Understanding. And I've got this, and it's just a little snippet, a little view of the cover, but
Oh,
who your very talented son made for me, by the
oh,
way.
yeah, I
But,
wouldn't have debate. Oh my
yeah, but
goodness.
the book is pretty much done. I'm just tweaking it and putting some edges in it. People can keep up with it with me in terms of when it's going to be released. I'd love for you to support it. It's going to be an ebook as well as a paperback. on
Can
Amazon.
can you give them information where they can how
Yes,
they can contact
yes.
you?
There's two places you can keep up with me. One is my newsletter, and you can get the newsletter at tinyletter.com/Dr. Imani, Dr. Imani, tinyletter.com/Dr. Imani. And you can also, I have a small bio page, and that's Dr. Imani Ma'at .info. So it's DRIMANIMAAT .info. So just like it's spelled on the screen without the apostrophe .info. And yeah, both places will have information about. I have a lot of products in health and wellness. Some to actually sterilize the environment to make it safer indoors. So lots of things that people can connect with me on, and certainly the book. The book should be out by very end of the year, latest the beginning of 2021. But I will make sure, maybe I can come on your show. And I'm also going to be starting my talk show again too, which I'm looking forward to that. Stepping into my power
Well,
was the name of my show. So I'm going to do that again. And
thank you.
yeah, looking
Thank you.
forward to
Well,
connecting.
you do so much. You like me, you just do so much. But that's what keeps us what? Motivated. That's
Young,
what keeps us
motivated.
that keeps us, not focused on what we don't have or what we can't do, but working on what we can do. I want us to end this program by sharing. Now, my book, I got several books, and some of them I'm not going to say anything until it's time for those to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And one book, this particular program has a book. Okay. This particular program is a book, Hearthside Confections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Change Your Focus. It's a book. And I'm excited about that. And again, that's what I've been doing when one of the things I've been doing when I'm not, when I'm not busy worrying about what's going on in my world, as opposed to what I can do something about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to just remind each one of us that anything that we are experiencing, some of them we want to be permanent. Some of them don't have to be. Okay. Some of them don't have to be. Some of the things that we can do to change our focus instead of being stuck in doing one thing is to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mani, yoga, you do a lot of that. I know you do yoga. Yoga is important. Now, also, learn to smile a lot. I know we can't see it under but you have a family, so smile with your family. Whatever opportunity you have to smile within an environment that is, permissive for you to do that, learn to smile. Because what does smiling do? Smiling is uplifting, it tells the other person, this is my world, not yours. Hey, whatever your problems are, it's not mine. I'm going to have a good day. I'm having a good day. You know what I'm saying? You're
Mm-hmm.
setting your day. You're letting people know this is how I'm going to run through my day, not based on your negativity and all of that. And then the other thing, to change your focus, you truly, truly must. This is an imperative. You must hang around people who are positive. Try not to make people who are negative part of your daily living. Do you understand what I'm saying? You must try as much as possible to surround. I know it's not easy, don't surround yourself with negative people. Change the thought. Your thoughts must change. Don't focus too much on the negative thoughts. Change your thoughts. If somebody has said something negative to you, say next, ask what can this thing do for me? If it's not good, whatever they're telling you, if it's not going to do something positive for you, then you don't need to accept it. You don't have to make anything a part of your reality that's not going to help you at all. Don't play the victim. Never be the victim. Always be the victor. Even in the middle of you thinking that you're a victim, don't put it out there. What you put out in the universe becomes reality. Never accept that you are a victim. This too shall pass. how do I use this to better myself? That's what you must do. And if you find yourself feeling sorry for yourself, remember there is always somebody out there who's worse off than you are. Always somebody who's worse. There are millionaires and billionaires dying of COVID, and here you are breathing, walking amongst the living. Is that not something to celebrate? But of course it is. So you have to change your perspective. Help someone. Call somebody on the phone who you may know is having a bad time. Because as a matter of fact, when you're talking to somebody who is having a difficult time, then that means you're not. You're doing much better than somebody who's struggling and can't make it, and it's not where you are mentally. Remember that no one is perfect. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Don't demand perfection from yourself. Do the best that you can do. Be the best that you can be. And that's all that Chineke, the creator, whatever you call God, that's what they want of you. Be that if you're a representation of the Most High, then how can you be weak? How can you be stuck in failure? Move your mind and your body in a perfecting presence of the Creator. That's where you belong. That's what you must do each and every day to overcome the challenges of just being being alive. Dr. Manny, you can add to what I'm saying.
Oh, that was a great stuff.
And sing in the shower. Sing. If you can't sing.
Yeah, some of us only in the shower. But that was a great summary, Dr. Simmery. And one of the things it made me think of, back in 2014, I did a calendar of positive affirmations. And you said, "This too shall pass." That was one of the statements that I took. And I took the word pass and turned it into an acronym for prove to be an amazing story of success. Or survival. Proved to be an amazing story of survival. Like you said, everyone, the 7 billion people on the earth, everyone's going through something, and so what you have is your something that you're dealing with, and so walk with it, work with it, in a dignified way. Work with it so that you don't become an annoyance to everybody else around you, thinking that your problems are worse than their problems, because they got their stuff they're dealing with too. They're just not verbalizing, they're not focusing on it, So I think, like I said, that was a great list. This has been a wonderful discussion. I'm so honored that you allowed me to be here in a conversation with you. This has been.
I couldn't have asked for a better person to join me today. And we're going to have more of these. It's every 2 weeks that we have this, So we're going to, there are lots of people who need what we're talking about.
Yes.
There are lots of people, I do therapy, and I cannot tell you the hurt, the pain out there, and if you want to get in touch with me, 248-773-1857. Again, it's 248-773-1857. You can get in touch with me there. And of course, you can also go to our YouTube channel and post your questions. Okay, you can ask questions at Chism of Africa on YouTube. We are here for you. Dr. Manny, you are going to always join me. You are very impressive, and I'm sure everybody will agree that you are a very impressive host and well trained, certainly, for what we're talking about. And we're going to have another exciting discussion next time. I want all of you to remember, you are good enough. You've got power behind you. You have energy. The Creator is behind you. There's nothing you cannot achieve. There's nothing that you need that you don't already have. So go out and get it. Don't pause. Don't fuss. Just do it. Get it, because you're entitled to it. Thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to read something before I leave. A comment from Naz Faratu. She says, "Wow." So I imagine she enjoyed the program. And someone else indicated that, let's see. She says, "This is fantastic. I look forward to the next one. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to you joining us the next time." And somebody, Josiah, says, "Beautiful and insightful. Your poem, Dr. Mani, is speaking to me," he said. Yes, that poem was powerful. And Your Highness indicated that it was a nice program, Dean Chimobi. thank you for joining us. And Ukuna Charles, he's one of our consistent viewers, and so he's indicating that if we he's making comments about what we're talking about, focus. But some people focus so much on money. If you focus on just money, it will kill you. I agree. But anyway, our program has ended today, and we look forward to another conversation with you all. That will be in 2 weeks. And we have another program tomorrow with Cheese and Live. I hope that you will all join us because we'll continue this fun. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. See you
Bye-bye.
next time at the Hearthside.